Good morning, all of you. Okay, today we will discuss about Unit 3. Okay, after now we completed 2 units. In first unit, we discussed the operating cycle of steam power plant. In second unit, we discussed the type of boilers and what is the basic function of a boiler, what are the necessary components of the boiler, and what are the different boiler accessories and boiler mountings, and what are the functions of different boiler accessories and mountings, and boiler performance, and natural draft, how do we produce the natural draft, and how do we create the chimney, and how do we select a desired height of chimney. Up to now we discussed 2 units. Okay, next unit is Unit 3. Okay, steam nozzles and steam turbine. Okay, next, after the boiler, the next immediate component of steam power plant is steam nozzles and steam turbine. After the boiler, the steam enters into the steam nozzles. Okay, after passing the steam through the nozzles, okay, that generated steam in the boiler section enters the steam turbine. Okay, inside the nozzle body, okay, we are observing some changes, okay, in the steam behavior. Okay, what is that change is? Okay, in case of steam nozzle body, during the flow of steam, okay, that steam energy, okay, pressure energy of steam is converted into kinetic energy. That is the basic function of a nozzle. Okay, pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. For that purpose, we are using the nozzles, and we have different types of nozzles. All nozzle functions are same. Okay, pressure energy of the working fluid is converting into kinetic energy. Whatever the working fluid we may use, okay, in that type of system, okay, the function of nozzle is same. Pressure energy of the working fluid is converting into kinetic energy. Okay, here we are using the steam as working fluid. Okay, steam pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. Okay. Okay, after passing the steam through the nozzle, okay, the nozzle injects the high velocity steam towards the steam turbine. Okay, inside the steam turbine casing, okay, we are introducing the high velocity steam. Okay, high velocity steam strikes the rotating wheel of the turbine. Okay, what is meant by turbine? It is a circular wheel. Okay, over the circumference of the wheel, we are arranging the number of blades. And we are using the 2 different types of turbines, impulse turbine and reaction turbine. And in case of turbine, okay, it consists of blades, and the high velocity steam strikes the blades of the steam turbine. Okay, because of striking of high velocity steam to the blades, okay, the turbine wheel is rotating very fastly on the turbine shaft. Okay, from the shaft we are receiving the power output from the turbine. Okay, later that power output we are using in our application. Okay, either for power generation, either for other applications. Okay, in case of steam power plant, we are generating the power output. Okay, we are connecting that turbine shaft to the generator section. Okay, in that manner, okay, in this Unit 3, we will see how that pressure energy of steam is converting into kinetic energy, and what happens to the different types of nozzles. If you use different types of nozzles, what happens to the pressure energy, how much velocity of steam we are using, how much velocity of steam we are using to rotate the turbine wheel and to generate the power output from the turbine. Okay, we will discuss in this unit. And how much quantity of power output we are generating from the steam turbine, we are measuring and we are determining based on the type of turbine also. We are using the 2 different types of turbines. One is impulse turbine, and second one is reaction turbine. One is impulse turbine and second one is reaction turbine. And in case of nozzles, we are using the 3 different types of nozzles. Okay, one is converging nozzle, and second one is diverging nozzle, and third one is converging diverging nozzle. In this manner, we are using the 3 different types of nozzles. Okay, what is meant by different types of nozzles means? Okay, in case of converging and diverging nozzle, we may observe 2 cross sections, and in case of convergent divergent type of nozzles, we may observe 3 cross sectional areas. Okay, in that manner, we are generating the different velocities of steam during the flow of steam into the nozzle body. Through the body, okay, we are made to flow the steam, and during that flow, expansion takes place, and that expansion follows one thermodynamic process. Okay, generally we are using adiabatic process or isentropic process for expansion. Adiabatic process or isentropic process for expansion of steam inside the nozzle body. Okay, during the flow of steam from the nozzle body, okay, the work done in that particular thermodynamic process will use the energy conversion. Pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. Okay, that quantity of output, okay, we are measuring based on this equation also. Okay, work done in that particular thermodynamic process will use the conversion of pressure energy into kinetic energy. Okay, in this unit we will discuss what are the different types of nozzles, how that pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy, at throat section what is the velocity, at the diverging section what is the velocity, and what is the cross-sectional area of the nozzle. Okay, in that manner we are solving some problems. And what are the different types of turbines, steam turbines, impulse turbine working principle and reaction turbine working principle, and based on the velocity triangles we are finding the work done from the turbine. Generally, okay, we are expecting some work output from the steam turbines. In impulse turbine we are receiving some work output, and reaction turbine we are receiving some work output. That quantity of work output we are measuring based on the velocity triangles. How that velocity triangles will develop or that velocity triangles will form means, okay, during the flow of steam from the nozzle body to the turbine, okay, that flow steam with flow velocity strikes the rotating wheel of the turbine, and then the striking steam develops the velocity triangles. Okay, that velocity triangles will help us to generate this how much quantity of work output is generated by the turbine. Okay, in order to calculate, okay, we are using the velocity triangles. Okay, that velocity triangles consists of number of velocities, number of relative velocities, okay, and number of angles. Okay, we are using one angle to strike the high velocity steam to the blades of the turbine, and during the striking at inlet, and after passing the steam through the steam turbine, it is releasing into the next device from the turbine, okay, by following one angle. That angles also we are using in order to determine work output from the turbine unit. Okay, in this unit we will discuss function of a nozzle. What is the function of a nozzle? Okay, generally nozzle we are using to convert pressure energy of working fluid into kinetic energy. Okay, in case of steam nozzles, we are converting the pressure energy of steam into high velocity steam. Okay, we are getting high velocity steam from the steam nozzle. Okay, at inlet we are introducing high pressure of steam that is generated in the boiler. Okay, generally we are developing three different types of nozzles. Okay, three different types of steams. Okay, dry saturated steam, saturated steam or dry saturated steam. Second one wet steam, and third one is superheated steam. In that manner we are developing the three different types of steams: dry saturated steam, superheated steam and wet steam. These three different types of steams we are introducing into the nozzle, and from the nozzle we are getting the different velocities of steam. Okay, at inlet, okay, the pressure is higher and velocity is lower, and at the exit of the nozzle pressure is lower and velocity is higher. Okay, in that manner, okay, we are converting the energy of working fluid into another form of energy according to the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, we are using the nozzles in different applications like steam power plants and gas turbine power plants, okay, and hydraulic power plants. In that manner we are using the nozzles in different applications. And condition for maximum discharge. Okay, what is meant by discharge means, okay, the mass flow rate of steam. Mass flow rate of steam, from the nozzle body is the discharge through the nozzle. Okay, how much quantity of mass flow rate of steam is flowing through the nozzle? That we estimate based on one derivation, and that the derivation we will see in this unit. And condition for maximum discharge. Generally, at throat section we are getting the maximum discharge. At which pressure ratio we are getting the maximum discharge? We will see in this unit, and we will solve one derivation also, and we will see some more problems on that topic also. Okay, types of flow through the nozzles. Okay, during the flow of steam inside the nozzle body, it generates different flows. Okay, saturated flow and superheated flows. And critical pressure ratio. Okay, definition of critical pressure ratio we will see. And velocity coefficient. Okay, velocity coefficient definition. That means during the flow of steam from the nozzle to the turbine, different velocities will produce. Okay, based on that velocities, we are generating the work output from the turbine. Okay, see these are the different types of nozzles, cross-sectional views, converging type of nozzle. First one is converging type of nozzle, and second one is diverging type of nozzle, and third one is converging and diverging type of nozzles. In that manner we are using the different types of nozzles. Okay, see the function and application of a nozzle. Okay, a steam nozzle is a passage of air in cross section which converts heat energy of steam into kinetic energy. Okay, the energy of steam is converting into kinetic energy. During the first part of nozzle, the steam increases its velocity, but in its later part, the steam gains more in volume than the velocity. Okay, we are increasing the velocity and volume also. Okay, during the flow of steam inside the nozzle, okay, we are expecting the higher velocity and higher volume. How do we get that higher velocity and higher volume? Okay, we are converting the pressure energy of steam into velocity and volume. Okay, nozzles are used in steam turbines. These are the applications, and in gas turbines, in water turbines. Okay, that means in steam power plants and gas turbine power plants, and in water turbine space, in hydraulic power plants also we are using the nozzles. And in jet engines, in aircraft and rocket engines, jet propulsion units, also we are using the nozzles. Okay, how that pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy is based on the design of nozzle body construction. Okay, internal design of the nozzle body, that pressure energy of steam is converting into kinetic energy. Okay, where the design itself will help us to create that higher velocity steam, higher velocity of working fluid. Okay, because of the construction of the nozzle body. Okay, nozzles are used for flow measurement also. Okay, in venturimeter. Okay, venturimeter also we are using the nozzles. Okay, with the help of the nozzle we are measuring the flow of a working fluid. Okay, nozzles are used to remove air from a condenser. Okay, with the help of nozzles also we are removing the air from the condenser. Then only it condenses the low pressure exhaust steam from the turbine. Okay, for condensation process. Injectors for pumping feed water to the boilers. Okay, we are using injectors for pumping the feed water to the boiler section. Okay, effect of friction on nozzle body. Okay, we are made to flow the steam through the nozzle body. Okay, and during the flow of steam, okay, it takes very small time. Okay, during that small time also we are expecting some frictional losses. Okay, entropy is increased. Okay, entropy means already we discussed in thermodynamics. Entropy means it is a disorderness of the system. Okay, entropy means it is a disorderness of the system. Okay, that disorderness during the flow of steam it gets the entropy, and that properties will change. Available energy is decreased. Okay, because of friction, available energy is decreased, entropy is increased, and velocity of flow at throat is decreased. Throat section velocity is decreased, volume of flowing steam is decreased, and throat area necessary to discharge a given mass flow steam is increased. And most of the friction occurs in the diverging part of the convergent divergent nozzle. as the length of the converging part is very small compared to the diverging portion. Okay, if you see the converging diverging type of nozzle, the length of diverging portion is very high compared to the converging portion. That's why we are getting the higher friction at the diverging portion. Okay, the effect of friction is to reduce the available enthalpy drop by about 10 to 15%. Okay, if you get more enthalpy drop, you can get more velocity gain from the nozzle body. Okay, supersaturated flow or metastable flow in the nozzle. Okay, already I said, okay, different flows will happen during the flow of nozzle, during the flow of steam inside the nozzle body. That is supersaturated flow. What is meant by supersaturated flow? Okay, what is meant by saturation means, okay, that steam is condensing into water. Okay, the total quantity of steam may not condensing into water inside the nozzle body. Okay, some water droplets will produce during the flow of steam. Okay, from the nozzle body. Okay, at which temperature, at which pressure the steam starts condensing. Okay, at that location, okay, that flow is called supersaturated flow. That flow is called supersaturated flow. Okay, you can see that in this diagram also. Okay, this is the saturation curve. Okay, generally the saturation of steam during the flow inside the nozzle body, the saturation curve will happen like this. This is theoretical one, and this dotted line or Wilson line will indicate the actual saturation commences during the flow of steam inside the nozzle body. For example, this is the expansion takes place inside the nozzle body by following the isentropic process, and during the flow the pressure is P1 and exit pressure is P2, pressure decreases after expansion, and during the flow the steam starts condensing at this location. Okay, this location of point is called Wilson line. Okay, the gap between the saturation line, theoretical saturation line and Wilson line. Okay, during that gap, the flow is called supersaturated flow. Okay. Steam expands in the nozzle, its pressure and temperature drop, and it is expected that the steam start condensing when it strikes the saturation line. Okay, after crossing the steam from the saturation line, it starts condensing. Okay, in theoretical manner. Okay, but in actual case, generally it starts condensing after crossing the Wilson line. Okay, that theoretical line and Wilson line, that gap between the two lines will give the flow of steam in this supersaturated flow. Okay, high velocities, the residence time of the steam in the nozzles is very small. Okay, during the flow of steam at higher velocities, the residence of steam inside the nozzle body is very small. And during that small flow, small time of flow, also we are getting the supersaturated flow. Okay, there may not sufficient time for the necessary heat transfer and the formation of liquid droplets. Okay, after the crossing the saturation line, it forms into the droplets. Okay, not total steam is converting into droplets. Only we are observing some droplets at the end of the expansion inside the nozzle body. Consequently, the condensation of steam is delayed for a little while. Okay, this phenomena is known as supersaturation. Okay, the gap between the natural saturation line and Wilson line is called the supersaturated flow. Okay, the gap between these two lines, saturated line and Wilson line, will give the supersaturated flow. Measurement of a supersaturated flow. Okay, next one is critical pressure ratio. The critical pressure ratio is the pressure ratio which will accelerate the flow to a velocity equal to the local velocity of sound in the fluid. Okay, the critical flow nozzles are also called sonic nozzles. Okay, we can find that critical pressure ratio based on the given pressure limits also. Okay, next classification of steam turbines. Okay, we are using in that these topics. Okay, we will discuss the steam turbines. Okay, in the nozzle case, we are discussing different types of nozzles and velocity. How do we produce velocity and what are the discharge? How do we measure the discharge? Okay, what is the condition for maximum discharge? All these we will discuss in the nozzle case. And in case of steam turbine, we will discuss what is meant by impulse turbine, what are the mechanical details of impulse turbine, and velocity diagrams, and methods to reduce the rotor speed, okay, velocity compounding, pressure compounding, velocity and pressure compounding, and combined velocity diagram. These topics we will discuss in the steam turbine case. Okay. In case of impulse turbine, okay, the total pressure we are introducing at the inlet of the turbine. Okay, we are introducing only pressure energy at the inlet of the turbine. Okay, that is the impulse turbine. And that impulse turbine consists of buckets. Okay, at the circumference of the circular wheel, we are using the buckets. Okay, with the help of that buckets, okay, we are rotating the rotating wheel, round wheel. That is the turbine. Okay, in case of impulse turbine, at the inlet, we are expecting the only pressure energy. Okay. The steam jets are directed at the turbine's bucket-shaped rotor plates, where the pressure exerted by the jets causes the rotor to rotate and the velocity of the steam to reduce as it passes to kinetic energy to the blades. Okay, pressure energy of the steam is acts on the blades, that is kinetic energy. Okay, impulse turbines are therefore also known as constant pressure turbine. At the inlet and exit, we are expecting the same pressure. Okay, the next series of fixed plates reverses the direction of the steam before it passes to the second row of moving blades. Okay, we are utilizing the available inlet pressure energy into in different stages also. Single stage impulse turbine, two stage impulse turbine, three stage impulse turbine, like that. We are utilizing the available inlet energy from the steam into three different stages. One or two different stages we can utilize. And in case of reaction turbine, okay, the rotor blades of the reaction turbine are shaped more like aerofoils. Okay, aerofoil shape of blades we are using. In case of impulse turbine, bucket shaped blades we are using, and arranged such that the cross section of the chambers formed between the fixed blades and diminishes from the inlet side towards the exhaust side of the blades. And here we are using the fixed blades and moving blades. And in case of impulse turbine, we are not using any moving blades. Only we are using the fixed blades. Okay, the chambers between the rotor blades essentially form nozzles, so that as the steam progresses through the chambers, its velocity increases, while at the same time its pressure decreases. Pressure decreases, and the pressure decreasing is converting into kinetic energy. That kinetic energy is directed by the fixed blades, and moving blades utilizes that energy and converting that energy into work output. Okay, in that manner we are generating the power output. So you see the impulse turbine working. And high velocity steam from the nozzle strikes the buckets of the rotating wheel. Okay, this is the rotating wheel, and around the circumference of the rotating wheel we are arranging the bucket shaped blades, and the steam is striking the buckets, and during the flow, during the striking, higher kinetic energy is acts on this bucket shaped blades. Then from this shaft we are getting the work output. Okay, that work output we are giving to the steam generator, electrical generator. Okay, and in case of reaction turbine, we are using the fixed blades and moving blades. Okay, fixed blades and moving blades we are using, and steam is passing through the fixed blades and moving blades, and fixed blades converting the pressure energy into kinetic energy, and moving blades utilizes that available kinetic energy and converting that kinetic energy into work output. Okay, in that manner we are generating the work output in case of reaction turbine. Okay. In next class we will see how much velocity we are generating based on the inlet available pressure of steam. Okay. In next class we will see some more derivations on velocity, our exit velocity of the steam from the nozzle, and at throat section, at diverging section, and at converging section. Okay, if you use 3 different cross sectional nozzles, at that 3 different cross sectionals, we are expecting the 3 different velocities. Okay, thank you.